Hi folks, so I'm going to review this Trouba hit on Jarvis, and I want to point out something about Trouba in general, is that I don't think he's actually trying to do anything dirty. I honestly believe he's trying to make clean checks, but here's the problem with what he does. He always starts out nice and low, his stick is down, he's trying to get the puck usually, and look how low he is and wide. He's in proper stance, but he always raises that shoulder up. He always leads with his shoulder, but he sticks it up and out. See how it goes directly into the head? It's not an accident that people get hurt when he throws checks, and sometimes they don't when other players throw checks, because he finishes them differently. It's not how he starts, it's what he does through the process. He pops up and out on almost every check. See how his legs straighten up, he leans forward, and he drives out into the check, through the head. And I know what some people are thinking. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to explode. No, you're not. Look how low he is. Those shoulders are lined up. His shoulder is lower than Jarvis's. So yes, Jarvis's knees are bent, but Trouba's are bent even lower. Look how he finishes this contact. He's up and leaned out. His shoulder goes over top of the opponent's shoulder and through his head. So if you look at it from the outside, yes, he's low, his knees are bent, and he's leading with the shoulder. But look where his shoulder was, and look where his shoulder is now. That's the problem. And I know some of you think that's unavoidable. That's the way you're supposed to throw body checks. But no, you're not supposed to throw checks. You're supposed to finish checks. Checking is a process that doesn't have to lead to contact. Checking is a full process, and the contact is just one part of it. And at no point are you supposed to explode up or out in any way, shape, or form into that contact. And I'm going to show you an example here from a couple of my favorite checkers. I don't call them hitters. I don't like the term hit. Hit is dirty. A check, like I said, is a process. A check is clean. It's a hockey play. A hit is dirty. You're going for a hit instead of going for the check. So Romanov and Seider are probably my two favorite checkers. Cale Makar is up there. He does them very well. But even right here, Romanov is going to take his back foot off, but he's not exploding. Watch. His back foot comes off the ice, but there's no real lean outward. He only does that for posture purposes to get his angle correct. But if he was really leaning out and driving off that foot like Trouba does, Romanov would fall right over top of this player. Even if he doesn't make contact, he's basically just gliding on one foot. There's no real outward movement, and it's all shoulder to shoulder. It's not an accident that he hits shoulder. Look how low that Blackhawks player's head is. And yet somehow Romanov is able to avoid the head. It's because he doesn't push out or pop up and out. He just gets in the lane and lets the Blackhawks player run into him. And here's Seider. That Stars player has no idea he's there. He's getting the puck, he's focused on it, he's turning right into this check. Seider could blow him up and nobody would bat an eye. But look how the Stars player's head is down, and look how low Seider is. And there is no push. There's no explosion or extension. He just puts himself in a lane and lets that Stars player run into him. How does he go under the head here? How does he get under the head? Look how low he is. But the difference is his knees are bent, but his body's down low too, and there's no pop up. It's all just putting yourself in the lane and letting the other player finish their own check. So here's Trouba on Kara. Yes, Kara has his head down. He's looking at the puck. But when the contact is delivered, look where Kara's head is. He gets it up, he's looking up. And again, their shoulders are lined up. Trouba's low, his stick is on the ice. Look how low he is. Look. His shoulder is below the lettering on the boards. But as he approaches, there comes the chicken wing, and all of a sudden his shoulder is way out in front of his body and he's on his way up. Look at that back leg. Now, like I said, Romanov did the same thing with his back leg, but he did not go up or out. Trouba's shoulder is lined up with his knee there. And on contact, it's out in front of the rest of his body, and it drives up into the head. There is no way that this can't be shoulder-on-shoulder contact if he really wanted to. Kara actually lifts his head up, and it's out of the way. But watch Trouba's head rise up. His shoulder rises up. Everything rises up. His head is below the red dasher. Now his head is up on top of the red dasher and his shoulder's up with it because he drives into it. So people are going to say that's a clean hit. We don't want that to be out of the game, or else we shouldn't have hitting at all. But why can't he just stay like this and just glide straight into contact? There's no reason he needs to pop up other than to make contact harder and more painful. All he has to do is glide in, no change of posture, but instead he pops up. Now, another difference between Romanov and Trouba is, let's just say he misses contact here. Kara gets out of the way. Trouba is exploding up and out to the point where he's going to go up and over. He's not keeping his balance like Romanov was. And here's a good example of it. There's a Bruins player coming in. Trouba has it lined up. He's low, stick down on the ice again, but he's going to miss. He has not timed it well. So again, he reaches out, leans out, and explodes into it. He's going to miss, so he has to rotate and lean out, and boom, he pops the head. Completely avoidable contact. And we're going to say he's low. It's shoulder contact. The other Bruins player is so low that you couldn't possibly avoid the head. Well, yeah, you could have. Now that brings us back to the Jarvis check. So now with that lens, thinking about what Seider and Romanov did and others, why can't Trouba stay right here? Those shoulders are lined up. But that shoulder goes up and leans out and drives through the head needlessly. He could make just as heavy a check by gliding in and letting Jarvis run into him the way Seider let that Dallas Stars player run into him. But he has to drive through the check, make it excessively hard and excessively dangerous. So I guess by the letter of the law, you could call that a clean check, but not by the letter of my law. Because you don't pop up into a check like that. That, to me, is basically a form of charging or targeting the head. That's an illegal check to the head. There's no way he shouldn't be able to just carry this posture through, stay that low through contact. Why does he have to stop and drive his shoulder forward? Why can't his shoulder stay lined up with his leg? Why does it always have to stick out a foot and lead the hit and pop up into the head? That's the question the league needs to ask Jacob Trouba before somebody gets killed.